One from morning, Balasaheb Thackeray invites me. He puts idli in front of me. And he says, how is this idli? Now, who will say, even if it is a stone, white stone, you have to say it is the best.
Education. So every era does a lot for the local girl child or orphan girl child. So in Nasik we've tied up with an institution, and again these are not big institutes. We decided that we will support grassroots, smaller institutes who generally many people miss out.
You will never be able to do it in your life. She's laughing. Very good. I got someone now. And that was the negative motivation. I lived on it. I took it to my advantage.
Many of my friends now don't come to me. That's okay, because I've chosen who my client is, and my client is very important to me apart from my friendship.
Whenever tough time comes, just look up and say, "Ay bure waqt, zara adab se pesh aa. Ay bure waqt, zara adab se pesh aa. वक्त को वक्त नहीं लगता वक्त बदलने में, अब बदला दिया."
Ask you a very tough one. To 1995, Dad decided to break down Kamat Group, lock, stock, barrel, break the building down, to start Orchid in 1997. Check me if my facts are wrong. Am I right, sir? Sir, you mentioned to me then, मैं zero से hero नहीं बना, मैं negative से hero बना, because he was in 265 crore. 282 crore debt. And he said to me, if not for my parents
And wife.
and my wife, I wouldn't be here today. Guys, this is something else, okay? And he's decided to break down something when eco-tourism, eco-hotels, organic, so fashionable and swerve today, everything is organic. He did it in the 80s and 90s when organic was, what's organic? What's eco? He decided to walk that path. Vishal, when Dad was in debt, you were a baby. You were young kids. Did you ever feel the pinch in the house that Dad's in debt? What was the scene like at home, Vishal? Because these are a story of two generations. And this is not anything to do with business, but about emotions, please.
Thank you for having me here. It's not really that tough a question actually, because the drama was more than the reality. The reality is that when times are tough, either you oppose it or either you accept it or you don't accept it. Only a coward will not accept it. You have to accept it. And the first success of any problem resolution is accepting that there is a problem. So when my sister, my brother, myself, as children also, thanks to my mom, explained us, and we would see and we would hear. So rather than, like I said, not accept it and rebel or look at avenues which are not productive, all three of us basically work towards being a part of the solution by not creating hurdles, by not being demanding, and with whatever we had, we would enjoy within that. So it's not that we've not had within those difficult times also, whatever limited was there, in that we have enjoyed. So I cannot say I have been devoid of whatever best my parents could not give me at that time.
Yes, yes.
Whenever tough time comes, just look up and say, "Ay bure waqt, zara adab se pesh aa. Ay bure waqt, zara adab se pesh aa. वक्त को वक्त नहीं लगता वक्त बदलने में, अब बदला दिया."
Kamatji, you had told me that, environment is my passion, heritage is my creed, and hospitality is in my life. So these three statements are just not fashion statements, but very stoic. So what is it about Idli, Orchid, and Bilwa that you want to tell our beautiful audience here?
After this experience, I realized that I must write a book What happened in my family, I didn't want it should happen in any other Indian or any person's life. जिंदगी से बड़ी सजा ही नहीं, क्या जुल्म किया है पता ही नहीं, इतने हिस्सों में बंट गया हूं मैं, अपने हिस्से में कुछ बचा ही नहीं. बचा था माँ बाप का प्यार, सपोर्ट, माय चिल्ड्रन, माय वाइफ एंड माय फ्रेंड्स. In life you must have true friends who will act at that time like a Sudarshan Chakra and protect you. Now, it is not my story. It may happen to anyone. And sometimes it is because of sibling rivalry. Sometimes it is your own fault. Maybe you spend money, you splurge it, and you may lose it. Or sometimes it's your bad luck. But I think you can plan it properly and you come out of it. Lastly, sibling rivalry is bad. 1% or maybe more percentage, I would give that blame, because my father used to always discuss or scold my brother. He said, look at you, you are like this and what he is. So that anger has grown, So sometimes the parents are also responsible. I don't want any parents. I don't wish any brothers. And I don't wish any family should have this. And that's why I wrote a book, Idli. Idli is our beginning. My mother used to make the finest idli in the world. You'll be surprised. After this book, one morning, Balasaheb Thackeray invites me. He puts idli in front of me. And he says, how is this idli? Now, who will say, even if it is a stone, white stone, you have to say it is the best. So I said, sir, it's the best. Okay, you have written in your book that if I find any person making better idli than my mother, I will give Orchid Hotel to them. So he said, now you are supposed to give me the Orchid Hotel. I said, I will, provided you digest this idli. So he laughed. He says, you have presence of mind. Great. So that's it. That is the journey.
Vishal, anything that you remember that was extremely path-breaking as a dinner conversation with mom and dad? That you said that, yaar, ye to bas, this is my philosophy of life.
There is no one philosophy. And your philosophy changes as per you and your age and your experiences. Everyone starts out to be honest, but we all know many business people who are not honest. So it's not something that they decide that I'll be a dishonest businessman.
Yeah.
It happens that maybe circumstances has changed him in a way where, like the movie, nobody born to become a villain. You see, oh my God, either society has oppressed or circumstances oppressed, or some people are just born criminal. So accordingly, there is a reason that why someone becomes a great villain in every Superman or any hero movie. And that's basically, again, in this particular case also, when we are talking about any profound philosophy, based on your mood, you will appreciate and enjoy some source of inspiration.
Yeah.
When I was abroad, I started listening to a lot of Hindi music from Kishore Kumar and all, because I was stuck in America working with our restaurants over there. So suddenly my propensity towards Indian culture, Indian music, Indian food became more. But when I came back, I kid you not, for 1 month I ate triple Szechuan fried rice. Because in 2001 you got third class Chinese in Singapore, in America. So for 1 month almost all I had was triple Szechuan fried rice and Szechuan chicken and all those kind of things, because I craved that. Why? Because here I'm back home. So when I sit with my mother and I have tea, or sometimes when I'm sitting with my father, like you said, over dinner, and most of the profound statements come over drinks only.
Yeah.
So at such time, basically, based on what your situation is, you should look for the inspiration. You can't stick to one thing. Your ethos should not change.
Exactly.
But the ideas, the methodology has to change as per the time. What was for my grandfather cannot work for my father, will never work for me.
Those days, motivation was negative. You will never be able to do it in your life. She's laughing. Very good. I got someone now. And that was the negative motivation. I lived on it. I took it to my advantage. And whenever somebody has said, you will never be able to do it, I taken as a tonic. And that's how I said, नहीं करके बताने का ही है और हम होंगे कामयाब. All the projects which I have taken,
Yes.
either the landlord or my friends, even my team, sir, ये होने वाला नहीं है. I said, don't worry. There's a fountain in our hotel here, Orchid, which is placed 1996. Everybody told me at this cost and the way you are putting it, it will not work. Simple methodology, that time we were putting 250 rooms. Suppose it is costing me 1 crore, so per room it is coming to 4 lakh. See, when you see a burden, try to make it less by dividing it. So I was telling my friend who has come from Delhi, I said, 1 करोड़ रुपया जो है वो हर रूम पे 4 लाख रुपया हुआ तो I could put it. If all the wars in the world are won in the mind, not on the battlefield.
Yeah.
So this was reverse. Okay, I can put this fountain, and after I put it, when Mr. Thackeray walked in, he looked at it and he stood there for 25 minutes. And that gave me such a publicity. Bala Sahib Thackeray na thambola. So people started visiting this fountain. Till today, it is one of the main things.
Actually, it's iconic. Now we are talking about sound therapy. It's become a big business. That's sound therapy. I don't know whether you enjoyed that fountain. The sound of that fountain is 100% therapy.
I'll tell you, there is another therapy also. Smell therapy. I opened many restaurants abroad. But when I was 22-year-old, I had opportunity to open in Munich, next to station underground, a small cafeteria, a restaurant. The owner was from South, and I started South Indian coffee. Anybody speaks German? It's a coffee means eine Tasse Kaffee. That means 1 cup of, whatever. Thank you. So when we started coffee, he said, no, it won't work. Other friend says, nahi chalega. You know what I did? At the entrance, about a small machine where you can make powder from the beans and just put it on there. The people walking, they used to get only the smell of the coffee and they used to come inside. I used to serve them. Within a month, there was no place. So only a small machine could do that. You know. So what you have to do is pre-preparation. That's very, very important. Thank you.
Vishal, your journey now has been, I know this era, it's era or Ira? Please get my pronunciation. It's era.
Ira means Prithvi.
Prithvi, absolutely, but it would be Ira. So with era, is this something that Dad said he wanted to do with the brand and you felt probably can be done differently? Again, 2 generations conflicted, but the vision was one?
No, it's not a conflict. It's basically an extension that today, if you are a travel agent and you're already selling Europe, after a particular time, your repeat customers going to come to and say, send me somewhere else.
Yeah.
So you don't want to lose them by saying, no, I'll only send you to Europe and you have to go. That's not going to happen. In the same way in hospitality, Orchid Hotels stands today for something. It stands for an environmentally sensitive, but at the same time a certain upper scale bracket of hotels, and it comes with a different kind of ethos, a different kind of thinking, a different kind of cost structure, a different mindset of the customer spending also. So we had basically an opportunity to create a run which is not really less. Like example, today our Era by Orchid in Ayodhya is at 10,000 to 15,000 on an average in terms of its rate. So it's not about being lesser in pricing. It's about what is the product. What is the product that you are offering today? Even our Era by Orchid in Andheri and Orchid Mumbai, many a times that hotel does even better ARR than the Orchid Mumbai. The reason being that one is location, secondly it's a more younger product. Different people have different, there are so many guests who don't like to stay with us at Orchid and stay over there in Era, even though the price may be the same for them. So it's about what is it that the brand or the product says to you. Today, I use the Samsung phone because I enjoy the Android world. But there are so many people who say, "Arey, you should have an Apple." No, I don't want an Apple because it is a status symbol. I'm already Kamat, so I don't need the status. I want basically, I want my comfort, I want my convenience, I want to be able to use the platform to the best of its utility so that it links with my various other business tools, so that it is, so it's not that, so same way in Era. Era is basically a product which we can, like example, there could be no swimming pool.
Yeah.
Okay. But there could be no swimming pool.
Okay.
But the customer who's coming to Era doesn't mind. They could, like in Era, Andheri has a beautiful swimming pool.
Okay.
But the one which we have in Bhubaneswar, that's also doing exceedingly well, that has a swimming pool.
Okay.
But our Noida owner is here, Mr. Jain, so he's here, all the way he's come. So we invited him also on our behalf, as we did by our other family members also. So thank you, Jain sir, for coming. So that also does not have a swimming pool, but the hotel is beautiful. Yes, you can actually tell us.
Yeah.
Thank you for letting him go from Noida. We could have him because of that.
Yeah, let's do it. So, sir was there only,
Yeah,
just
I know.
opened on the 7th.
Yeah.
So again, that's a very beautiful product, extremely nice location.
And sir has also put a lot of effort in it, and it's just open, so many of the other things also will get done, but still it's already doing exceedingly well. From the first day itself we had our loyal customers, Paytm, they came in because their office is also there. They've started from here, by the way. For all of you who don't know, Paytm started next to Orchid. Right in the Tata building, and from there their journey has been whatever phenomenal growth they've had. So coming back, Era, basically the word Era, I'd just like to tell you, Era basically means the short form for Iravati. Iravati is the goddess Saraswati. So it goes with our ethos of education. So every Era does a lot for the local girl child, orphan girl child. So in Nasik we've tied up with an institution, and again these are not big institutes. We decided that we will support grassroots, smaller institutes who generally many people miss out, but they're doing phenomenal work. So it was very easy for us to go to someone big. There were, without naming, various associations who want to tie up with us also, and we also thought, wow, they're doing such a large scale of work, let's join them. But then we thought, no, wait, the effort is more, but the satisfaction is higher. In Odisha, there is a small 30-room girls guest house where there are girls from the age of, I think 4, 5 years or maybe even smaller than that, to those who are becoming college and now will go into MCom, BCom, in degree courses. That's when they have to leave the hostel. And first time, 8 girls have been able to go for further education at one go because of whatever support our ERA team did in Bhubaneswar. So these kind of small things which are there give us a much more satisfaction. So in Mumbai there is, and Aloy and our team have been doing that. So ERA going with ethos of education, again in terms of it also it has the meaning of earth which goes with our environment ethos, and then you have Orchid which does a lot for turtle conservation, greenery, bird things, many other things which it does. So our brand should be part of our ethos, and that's how the name is.
So yes.
And one more thing, my mother's name is Indira. So Indira, IRA, that last, it remains. That's it.
Your mother's essence has always been with you.
No, I've been, as I say, one word mother, compare it with no other. The first word of the infant, the last word of the brave, tender and forgiving. Let's value them while they are living.
Totally.
No truer word than the mother from the cradle to the grave. Thank you.
when before Jadavpur was happening, like Vishal, you were a part of this whole journey. I think you got into active hospitality by then. Yes or no? Right. I remember this somehow because that's when you started coming out, talking to prayer. There was something that you felt because you were a young blood, and is anything that you brought in that was something special, and Dad agreed that it's a brilliant idea and let's implement it?
I think it's something more. I could say that basically what really I brought in was much later when I didn't ask anything of Papa and I just did things.
Okay.
Because see, you can't run a business with rules.
Absolutely.
You can't.
Yeah.
Your customer is not coming to behave. And unfortunately, at that particular time, we were very rigid. That you can't do this, you can't do this, you can't do this. And we did good, but we didn't do our potential.
Yes.
But subsequently, when we became more liberal, that's basically when we started to do much better. So you have to, in business at times, allow your customer to take advantage of you because he feels satisfaction in that. Paisa vasuli, that concept which is there, it's there in all of us. In your tour also, somebody will want one extra bag. Okay, ठीक है, वो weight, so no extra bag, वो जो free bag देते हैं ना, जो उसमें वो आपका छापा हुआ है, या somebody from the hotel will want to take extra soap or something. These are the small things which you have to be large-hearted to ignore. If you are going to say नहीं तुम लोगों का group 40 है मगर 42 कैसा हो गया bag, those 2 bags will spoil all 40 people's mood.
And the one who actually taken will never own up. So let it be. क्या इतने बड़े टूर में आपका 1000 रुपया ऐसे ही छोड़ दो, भूल जाओ. But what happens many a times is some people penny pick. And I think basically in business you have to be large-hearted. You have to allow your customer to do. And yes, again, that doesn't mean they can do anything. For example, it doesn't matter who comes, what comes. We don't allow outside food in our hotel. We don't allow, and many people go and complain on Zomato, or not Zomato, on TripAdvisor and other things. But that's because there is an ethos behind our day. We will make whatever you want, but we will not allow at all. And we're very strict about it, extremely strict. In the same way, we're very strict about not allowing smoking in our room. It doesn't matter who you are, you will pay the fine. We've lost business also because of it. But then again, it's part of our ethos. Why should my irresponsible action in this room? I have nothing against smoking.
Sure.
So firstly, that's not the issue. The issue is that I have a choice as a smoker to step out, smoke and come back. But this audience, children who are staying with us, they don't have an option. If I am going to spoil the environment with my smoke, the audience doesn't have a choice, but I do. So if I smoke, I should be responsible, go, smoke and come. So there are these kind of things which you shouldn't allow, which will spoil the atmosphere, which will spoil, why again, outside food. Many people misuse this facility. They'll just open the food, just leave because they're checking out, they'll just leave it all like that. Why should my houseboy take the trouble to clean up someone else's mess, which is not part of our hotel's endeavor? Secondly, they leave a mess, the housekeeping, the engineering, their work increases because your painting, polishing cost, your denting, and worst, the biggest crime of all is pest control. People just drop food here, drop food there. See, when it comes in an IRT, the difference is that an IRT comes to you in a set tray. Everything is organized. You have your dal, you have your bhaji, you have your roti, you get a plate, you get a whole set. But when you bring food from outside, you have just opened some plastic bag and then you're just eating from that. You're all spilled over here. So people are very careless and irresponsible. And ever since we had this kind of rigidity, what has happened is that our overall repair and maintenance and our pest control has drastically gone down. Our housekeeping problems. So again, but at the same time, if some guest is coming, you should be allowing him, like I said, they take some extra soap, they do that, they'll ask extra amenities, give. At the same time, he'll remember and he'll come back to you and stay. And that's why we have such high repeat customer. We are very lenient on what will bring our customer back. In fact, there are a lot of guests, by the way, who come to us because we are a non-smoking hotel. Because they have asthma problem, because they come with their kids. So if a person who wants, like many of my friends now don't come to me, that's okay. Because I've chosen who my client is. And my client is very important to me apart from my friendship. So I meet them outside.
Ours is the first company who made hangers from sawdust. And when we tell the guest that this is a sawdust hanger, he says, "Arey yaar, ek do." Now he immediately photographs it and send it to someone. Then slowly he comes, "Can I have one more?" I say, "Yes, you take it." So we give him two. Now that hanger takes me in somebody's house, someone's place. So see, there is always, whatever you invest will always come back to you.
Hi, my name is Shanti Banerjee. I'm actually a professional anchor, and being a freelancer, I'm always open to learning from people. And like ma'am correctly said, that with everything you all shared, there are like notes I have been taking. But still, at this point of time, I would love to know, how did you manage competition so far from when you started and in the age of social media, when it's only growing, with the positive mindset you have?
Firstly, the principle is competition breeds quality. What we have done is, I was a restaurateur, I was most ordinary person. Today I am extraordinary. That's the difference. Now, I used to visit Taj. I used to visit the best of the hotels. I used to see what they have. It's not in one day I did it. I used to be sitting in Taj kitchen and watching and learning. And then my two restaurants, now I can't name, my two restaurants, Samrat and Status, we used to supply a 5-star hotel what they needed. And they used to sell it from there. I can't name the hotels. So I made more money. I realized I got confidence that if it is approved there, that means the quality is class. See, certain things, certain hotels can't make it, and the guest wants it. Suppose Gujarati, they say we want undiyu. So he has to get undiyu from somewhere where the chef has to be 10 times sure that the quality and sanctity both there, So we did that. And it so happened by accident, when I took over this hotel, one of the biggest builder of India said, "तुम्हारा father तो धोती पहनते हैं, धोती वाला 5-star का मालिक नहीं हो सकता है." I realized he has not gone to Madras. Everybody wears mundu also, and he can have 10-star.
Yeah.
If you see KL Prasad, such a simple man, he had half of Madras. So it is not only dress and only a dress. It is your hard work, determination, dedication and discipline makes your destiny.
Thank you, sir. I'd just like to add in that.
Yes,
Yeah, please.
I'd just like to add to this lady's question, Madam Banerjee. So, you're in a very competitive profession, very, very competitive. Okay. So, if you are asking from your perspective, as would be anybody's over here, you're also basically, you have to first think of yourself as a business. And the first thing that you have to do in business is first study before you go, what is your audience? Many a times what happens, why some anchors are good and some aren't, is because they do the same thing which they're just good at, without looking at who their audience is. So if you're going for a corporate function, if you're going for a child function, if you're going for a professional function, you've got to build your content based on what your audience is. Because today, it's very difficult for me to be able to speak to this audience, because this audience is an extremely learned, grassrooted and people who have already achieved. So what will we be able to tell them? So rather than tell this audience anything, I believe in just saying what has been mine. And this would not probably be the way I would approach if I would have gone for, when I go for speaking in an institution where the students have no experience. So they are looking forward for us to be able to somewhat preach to them. So here today, what we've done is not preach to the audience, but share what we've gone through, and somewhere it relates to each one's own story. So in your case, as a budding professional, like I said, you've got to think of yourself that what have you to offer? What is your audience going to do? So you've got to do immense amount of homework, not just look great and go there and be bubbly, which is your personality I can see. You have to add much more substance, and then the audience will say, wow, Banerjee madam ko वापस बोला. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Jane?
My name is Deepak. I run an event agency called Corporate Events in based in Bombay. I've also stayed in your hotel and I've actually loved it. And the fountain that you're talking about, I've also stood there and watched in the year 2000. It looked very, very nice. The sound was also nice and those lines going down, yes. One question that I want to ask, and in fact one would be nice and one would be a little different here. The nice thing was you had a bar downstairs with a live band. Why is that stopped? And we could smoke cigarettes there that time. I remember. That's one question. Please, and then
By law, it is not allowed now. Smoking. Why? And it's Merlin's bar.
yes,
We have
yes,
90 and 99 different drinks there. Our friend, our customer, they come from all over. It's a bar where you can quietly sip, enjoy, bring your friends. It's not a noisy bar. Okay? So that's why it's a special bar.
But it was very, very nice. I had lovely experiences.
The bar is now renovated, you must visit. Yeah.
Certainly will this week.
Thank you. Your second question.
The second question was, I've also done some small conferences there because there was a lack of space, conference space, large ones. After we've done like 3-4 of them, this is a question related to business, yes?
Yeah.
How come the sales team has never reached out properly to others after that? I mean, not only to me, it must be to so many others also in the industry. I mean, they all travel, they'll be doing so many inbound movements.
That's an excellent question, and it's basically more than a question. It's a pointing out of something we're not doing, which definitely I will get on tomorrow.
Excellent,
Because
thank
it's an
you.
excellent
I rest my case here. And all the very best, keep rocking it, yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, Romy,
Thank you,
Vishal,
thank you.
so Vithal.
I think first
Thank
of all, let's give a real warm round of applause to all three of you. Thank you so very much.
Cheers for the Kamats! Hip hip hip! Hooray!